Do you ever feel like you're receiving signs from the universe? Like a feather on the ground, like mirror hours, 1111, or angel numbers like 777, or even a coin on the ground, or maybe a heart-shaped spill of jam. And also, what is the meaning of signs, and how to even be sure that something is a sign? And can we ask for signs? And do you want to receive more signs but with a clear meaning? If you've answered yes to any of those questions, then this video is for you. And maybe this is your sign to know more about signs. I'll also share this video a personal story of how a sign changed my life and made me move to another country. Hello beautiful souls, I'm Jenna Blossoms. I'm a French author, spiritual teacher, meditation teacher as well, and today on the spiritual menu, Signs 101. So first of all, what is a sign? A sign is something that will happen in your life in a peculiar way or in a miraculous way that will make sense for you. Maybe it will be like a confirmation of something you've been thinking. Maybe it will be an answer to a prayer you've made or a question you've asked. Maybe it will be a guidance that you'll need exactly at that moment, or when you need clarity, or where you're a bit lost and you're waiting for the universe to tell you in which direction to go. It will not be something completely extraordinary, but something inside of you will click, something will recognize. If you don't have too many thoughts in your head, it will be like, oh, it seems like it's for me. It seems like it's an answer. It seems like it's, I don't know, like a message of love that I'm receiving today that I was not expecting, but all of a sudden, this special situation makes sense for me. And maybe the first thing I want to share about signs is that you can ask for signs with an open heart, but also an open mind. And don't forget the gratitude, because it makes all the difference. But some of the signs will come to you even though you haven't asked for them. I remember one time a cousin who had just lost her dad, everybody in her family was telling her, oh, you have to eat more, because she was having a very hard time eating because of the pain she was feeling. And one time she went outside just for a walk to clear her head, and she overheard someone on the phone who was having a conversation. And the one sentence she heard was this: please tell her she has to eat. And this was very strange for her. It made her it got her out of her mind, and she was like, oh, this seems to make sense for me. And she saw it as a sign because she felt it. It was a sign. She felt it was a piece of guidance and a message that she needed to hear at that moment, and that the universe was delivering to her through that conversation that somebody else was having. So the one thing that is also important to receive a sign is to have a clear head. Do not try to look for signs everywhere, but when you're not overburdened with thoughts and thinking processes and questions and all of that, when you just clear your head, you will receive things that will be meaningful to you and that will help you along the way. And if you do ask for a sign, and once you have asked for it, please trust and let go. Do not keep waiting. Do not try to know when it's gonna come, what form it will take, and do not try to read into everything. The best thing you can do is just live your best life and do your things, don't try to wait around, because the moment the sign will come, you will recognize it and you will be surprised. It will come when you won't expect it. And remember, something will click inside of you, because the sign can take every form possible, because the whole world is meaningful. It can be a conversation you overhear, just like for my cousin. It can be a sentence in an ad that you see on a truck passing you in the freeway, or I don't know, a commercial on TV. It can be that spittle of jam that's shaped like a heart, or it can be that feather that's reminding you, to be free, or that the angels are looking over for you. Or maybe it's a video that a friend sends you and that will just make sense for you. Another piece of advice I can give you is just to be sure you'll receive something. Do not doubt too much or question too much, because once you're sure you're guided and accompanied through your life and through those signs, but also your inner feelings, you can be assured that a sign will show itself. And maybe another thing is, do not try to read too much into everything, otherwise you will get confused. If you ask yourself too many questions like, is this a sign? What does it mean? How can I be sure? Then you will go into the mental process and you won't feel the true meaning of the sign. You will just try to read into everything because you're desperately looking for an answer. And this is not how signs work. It's when you let go, when you trust that the clarity will come at the right moment, that the sign will present itself. And I want to share a story with you, a personal story, because this is exactly what happened to me. So a few years ago, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, and we were thinking of going to an island in the Mediterranean that's called Ibiza, or Ibiza, as the British say it. And we wanted to go for a few months. We weren't too sure, we had been thinking about it, but we had other options, other things we were thinking. And one day we have an insomnia, both of us. And during that night we decide, okay, maybe we'll go to Ibiza. And so the next day we were in a new city that we didn't know, and we get lost. We're just walking and, talking about our plans, and we get lost. And suddenly, while we just had finished talking about that plan and this maybe decision of going to Ibiza, we stumble across, I kid you not, a bar that was called Ibiza Forever, but spelled differently, like Isa with an S, like the name Isabel. And the bar next to it, so we were looking at this one, and the bar next to it was called in French, The Future. And so we stopped across that and we were like, this is made for us. This is literally the validation and the clarification that we needed. And so if we still had doubts, this seals the deal, you know what I mean? And so we ended up going to Ibiza without knowing that after the 3 months we spent there, we ended up living there for a few years and had the best time of our life. So you can see with that experience, which is one in many, that the signs will sometimes show themselves as a clear confirmation to guide you along the way in what is the right path for you. But also sometimes they will come when you have already made the inner work to connect with your guidance, have the intuition, and they will not tell you what to do, they will just nudge you in the direction that is the one of your heart. Because this story shows us that the universe cannot decide for you. Because the whole point of being on earth is to choose, is to create our life, our path. And so the signs, my philosophy anyways, for them not to decide for you, but to be a beautiful guidance from the universe or from God. But your job is to be open to the meaning of signs and also to evolve, to use them as a way of growing, of moving forward in your life. And it makes me want to say something else. Why were you asking for a sign in the first place? Because I know so many people ask for signs and they're desperate to have signs. And I want to say it's okay not knowing. It's okay to lack clarity sometimes, because we think of it as a problem that we have to solve, but sometimes the white canvas is just temporary. It's just for us to find new inspiration, new creativity, and for the clarity to come with its own timing. So I want to also say in this video, maybe it's time for you to trust yourself more instead of always asking for signs, if that's something that you do. And finally, signs do not always tell you to change something. Sometimes they're just a message of love, a reminder that the universe loves you so much, that you're supported, that you're not alone, that you are guided all the time. And so you do not always have to analyze it. Sometimes you can just feel it, receive the love behind it. Just this morning, I found a beautiful feather on the counter of my kitchen. The window was closed and there was no way a bird could have flown through that. And so it was the first time I saw that feather, and I didn't analyze it too much. It just reminded me that it was a beautiful sign from up above into my heart. So now I'm really curious. I would love for you to tell me in the comments down below if you've ever received a sign that made a big difference in your life, that had a beautiful meaning, that was a confirmation or a story that you have around a sign. I know I have many, but it's really fun to read one another. And even though it's the beginning of this channel, I really highly encourage you to subscribe if you like that content, to see more video on spirituality. And if you want to know more about signs, I have another video who will tell you all about the signs that a major transformation is coming into your life, because they are signs. So if you're interested in that, please go see that video, and I will see you in the next one.